Hello and welcome to Face to Face on Channel 1 TV. I'm sure you've already heard that the dollar is struggling against the cedi, and many are expecting that should result in some reduction in the cost of goods. I mean, Good at least is calling for that. But what about the cost of fuel when you go to buy petrol? I'll be having a conversation with the person who supervises the petroleum sector as a regulator and ask, are we going to see a reduction at the pumps? My name is Umaru Sanda Amadu. I'll tell you who my guest is when we come back. Please stay.
Curious about what's happening beyond your borders? Beyond Borders takes you there. Every Wednesday at 7 p.m., join Caleb Kuda as he explores the stories that shape our world, connecting you with Ghanaians in other cultures and seeing the world through their eyes.
So you learn one thing, you leave your shoes outside. Wow.
Tuesday.
I won't go to Ghana dressed in a Lacoste.
As
director of operations.
From international politics to the human stories that define nations, Beyond Borders brings you a fresh perspective of Ghanaians around the world, one conversation at a time. Beyond Borders with Caleb Kuda airs Wednesdays at 7 p.m. only on Channel 1 TV.
My guest on Face to Face is a lawyer, he's a communicator, and he is the new CEO of the National Petroleum Authority, NPA, Godwin Edudzi Tamekloe. You're welcome to Face to Face.
Thank you.
How are you? How are you doing? It's good to see you. Congratulations. Which one are we speaking? Tongue or Angola? Let me know so that
we can combine both. I have a Vedome side too.
Oh, and I also have a Togo side too.
So we can combine. Thank you.
Hope everything. How is it going, bro?
Oh, by God's grace, one can only thank God for the opportunity to serve the President and the Republic of Ghana. So it's a great honor. We are focused on the mandate that the President has given us, and we want to be guided as we proceed. So far, so good.
You know, I would ask you this because many people, while you were in opposition, were saying, oh, Edudzi, you're a great lawyer representing all the big, you are the lawyer for a lot of the big cases that the NDC had. You are director of legal affairs of the NDC. So people say, oh, you're going to be the Attorney General or Deputy Attorney General. For selling petrol there or regulating petrol sales there, we didn't see that coming, and now it has happened. Do you have a background in petroleum? Did you think you were going to do something outside legal if NDC ever won?
Okay, so as you rightly pointed out, the work done here is purely legal.
Okay.
Regulation, ensuring compliance, among others. So the current Attorney General was my lecturer at the law faculty for natural resource law, and one of the things that he taught me at the law faculty was downstream petroleum. And so the NPA Act was the enabling law that he used to teach us, and then incidentally the firm I joined, the firm founded by him again, we were the external lawyers for NPA for many years. And so I've always been dealing with the downstream petroleum matters, and also my LLM was a natural resource law as well, and in the same matters. And so maybe that's what you didn't know.
Oh, so you left faculty more than 12 years ago. It means that you have been in the oil sector all this while.
In fact, I was in the faculty in 2009, 2010. So you can imagine.
Yeah,
So,
you have had petrol running through your system all the
without
time.
you know
So,
it.
which means then it's been easy for you to fit in because you practically know a lot of the things.
Most of the external work by way of legal staff for the authority around 2013, 2014, 2015 were being done by the law firm
that you were with.
And usually I was the one assigned to handle those.
So you are not disappointed that you not become Attorney General?
When I have my boss,
your teacher,
my teacher and my senior partner in, I am way behind.
You're not even qualified at that level. You can't sit around that same table.
You know, I mean, for the sake of Christ, I mean, with Dr. Eni around, I mean, to whom much is given, much is expected. And having been the former Deputy Attorney General, the experience, the gravitas that he has, I think he's the best pick.
Did you lobby or you were just given this position, NPA?
What I would say is that President Mahama has been extremely gracious to me, among the many competent people around. He found me among them to say that, okay, you come here and do this work for me. So I'm extremely grateful to him. Extremely.
So let us talk more about NPA later on the show, but let's talk about someone else who President Mahama was extremely grateful or who was extremely grateful to President Mahama. He gave him the job of a new company, Gold Board. Sammy Gyamfi, your colleague in the party, who was Director of Communication or Communications Officer. He is in the news because he gave money to a televangelist. Would that be a proper term to use, or an evangelist? Some people say self-styled evangelist. I do not want to go in there, but the issue is he gave money out and it wasn't even our currency, it was dollars. And the whole nation is talking about it. From a political, I want to talk about it on two fronts, politician and the lawyer. What is at play here?
What I can say is that graciously, my friend and brother, Sammy Gyamfi, less than 24 hours when these incidents became public, he has thought it wise to apologize to the good people of this country, His Excellency the President as well. I think that is the right thing to be done. And to the extent that he has apologized for, in fact, in his write-up, because it's indiscretion, I think it should bring finality to the matter. Like you and I, we know, especially in the airway setting, they will tell you the one that takes the pots to the riverside is the one that will most likely break the pots. And in life, when some of these things happen, the person graciously says, I'm sorry. With the benefit of hindsight, I could have done it differently. I think that should suffice.
Really, if we watch the...
And let me say quickly that having apologized on the issue provides no justification whatsoever. I think...
No, but before
that
apology bit...
Hold on. That spirit, that remorseful spirit should assuage whatever anger or the sensibilities of our people that this conduct would have wrapped in. I do not want to have a stretch of this matter. And the reason why I say that is that as a young appointee, I consider it a great honor, privilege, that President Mahama has considered many of us young people to give this position. I want to see what's the way forward. What do we do to navigate such situations as young people? I will say, in fact, what I can say is that with what has happened, it's a great lesson to all of us that the 8 years of possible decay had heightened public standard for us that it is not going to be business as usual. The way and manner Ghanaians tolerated what happened in the past 8 years, they do not have that patience to tolerate the things that we'll be doing or we intend to do. And so they are telling us ahead of time that they are going to mark us with a higher standard. On the issue of the apology, Umaru, when a man is down and he says, I'm sorry, who am I to continue to beat him?
In the democracies we are learning from, often the sorry comes with, I hereby resign. And there are people who are saying he should either resign or be booted out of the government. You disagree?
Thankfully, in my law practice, usually when I go to court with a first-time offender and those issues come, I usually do what I call plea in mitigation. And I will usually tell the judge, oh, my Lord, temper justice with mercy. One, the person is young, is a first-time offender, has demonstrated remorse, he has not wasted the time of the court, among others. And usually, the judges graciously will consider this. And so instead of imposing custodian sentence, they will sometimes say, okay, sign a bond of good behavior. Or tomorrow don't go and do that, or sometimes a fine.
But not when your boss has just publicized a code of conduct for his appointees, which amongst a number of things talks about, showing off. That's not the term that is used, but I'm not sure if it wasn't profligacy that was used. I'm trying to remember the coinage.
Opulence?
Opulence, fantastic.
Yeah.
People deem that as a direct negative to the code of conduct that was published a week prior.
I have had the opportunity of going through the code of conduct. Like I said somewhere else, I want to take it, the second Bible, as far as we hold public officers are concerned. Now, if you carefully go through the code of conduct, it does talk about opulence and others. First of all, right from the video recording that came out, this is not a man desirous of showing off. You notice that after the encounter with the evangelist, he went into his car. This is not a man who wants to show off. What would have been your response if Sammy was on the rooftop of the car spraying the money? Would like we usually do in law school, they'll ask you, would your answer be different
if it was
this? That is showing off. In this case, he entered in his car, invited a person into his car. Clearly, you can see a conscious effort to minimize exposure.
So he was being discreet.
Kind of. Unknown to him, there was someone recording him. This cannot be somebody desirous of showing off. Like I pointed out, having apologized, I do not see the basis to want to justify the conduct.
That he's using dollars. That's also another issue that's come. That at this time you're using dollars. Just 4 months into office, where are you getting the dollars from, and why are you not using cedis?
I have restrained myself from saying that, in the Bible when Christ, the Pharisees persuaded the woman, and they were desirous of stoning her to death. Our Lord Jesus Christ had the benefit of writing something on the floor and said, he uttered those profound statements that he who has not, he should take the first. And by the time our Lord Jesus Christ was done writing,
they've disappeared.
Almost everybody had disappeared. In our political space, the issue of giving is sometimes a way to keep your base keep going. And once a while...
But she's not your base.
No, I'm coming. Once a while, we are caught up And Umaru, I give you a classic example. When this issue happened with Sammy, and the reason why I'm scared is that the same Saturday, I had gone to Ambassador Sampiali's 1 week. And then Sammy decided to go for Niger Gaze's father's 1 week. So it was 1 week program. So when I finished with national chairman and others.
You went to give money out?
No, I'm coming. I'm coming. So when I finished and I was going towards my car, as usual, the party people were all over. So I remember I had some CD notes. Then I gave. But, they were struggling for it. So I moved further. Then another set came. Then finally, I parked my car across the road. So when I got there, they came again. Maybe it's a lesson that we all learn.
But you were not
going
videoed.
forward.
It's a normal thing.
No, I'm just saying that, and that is why I will not sit in judgment over my brother Sammy.
Okay. So
because you see, after this, I was just contemplating, assuming somebody filmed me, what would be my story? What would be my story?
It's possible it's been filmed. The video is not out yet.
Assuming.
So
you understand.
So you want to be measured.
So it requires that I do not sit in judgment over my brother.
Let me tell you, people who have sat in judgment over your brother, the NPP, and they have called a press conference yesterday, even today, their national organizer spoke, Henry Nanabuachi. They are saying that what he did is unpardonable. Are you suggesting that they don't have clean hands and they shouldn't come close to equity at all in these matters, based on what you have just narrated?
Because my brother has apologized, and the respect I have for the sensibilities of Ghanaians, I think the NPP is not a standard. They have lowered the bar. And so the respect I have for the good people of this country, I wouldn't want to move into any realms of equalization. That Kwejo did that in the past. My brother has apologized. We stand by the apology. And with all due respect to the good people of this country, on behalf of my brother once again, I say, we sincerely apologize. Incidentally, I happen to be his lawyer as well. So maybe I have the brief.
You are conflicted.
I have the brief to further apologize for and on his behalf, on even my own behalf.
So legally, and I introduced you earlier as political, legal communication. So legally.
But like I said, the code of conduct is silent. The code of conduct relates to you receiving a gift. And there's even a threshold. From 20,000 and above, you needed disclosure.
That's when you are receiving, not when you are giving out.
Now, where in this scenario it is about giving out, it puts it in a different perspective.
Does this, the consequence that we are seeing now, does it restrict party appointees who have to oil the base? Do you think that there will be a restriction in the future? And again, Agrada is not really your party base necessarily, and that's what is making some other people angry.
What I know is that she's a Ghanaian. I know that she is a Ghanaian, and if you look at the background story, our cultural settings sometimes allow us to do good, not only to persons we know. That has a strong foundation in the Bible. The question of the Good Samaritan is that even the people who are family didn't help. The help actually came from a total stranger. And so conducts where you even help an unknown person is biblical. But again, like I pointed out, the apology rendered in sackcloth and ashes should be a lot of mitigating factor. Whatever the anger that Ghanaians may be going
So you do not agree with the call for him to be sacked or for him to resign over this?
I think that call, with respect, and once again, I say this with all humility, is misplaced now.
Even though it has brought a political dent to the goodwill you are enjoying, you would admit that?
President Mahama's goodwill is founded on a personal conviction and the promises that he had made to the good people of this country. Ghanaians did a careful assessment of the leader who was in power in 8 years and felt that President Mahama was genuine. He's demonstrated what he can do. Today, I'm sure we'll get back to that. If you look at the economy, things have been stable. If you look at the general conditions in the country, the level of tolerance and others, I strongly believe that that is the firm basis of the goodwill that he has. So that goodwill remains firm. Like we say among us lawyers, terra firma.
This is Face to Face on Channel 1 Television. I'm not a lawyer yet. When I become, then we can say amongst us lawyers. So
I'm just wishing you well. So you say thank you.
Thank you, sir. This is Face to Face. The president that he refers to, President Mahama, is not in the country. There's a conversation around he's absent, the vice president is not around, the speaker is not around, so who is the president? That is a question that has been raised. The NPP is asking, saying that there's a constitutional breach there. I'll ask him for his comment on that, plus what's happening in the judiciary generally. The Chief Justice, Gertrude Tokunu, who has been asked to step aside. We'll talk about that. And of course, the NPA, which he's heading now. What is the state of affairs and what his vision is. Please stay with us. This is Face to Face.
Life is a celebration of moments. Big and small.
The sun is scorching, I'm feeling the heat.
With Piva Drink, every moment becomes a refreshing celebration. From the beach to your home, in every corner of your world, Piva Drink adds a burst of refreshment.
Give me Piva cocktail and tangerine.
Celebrate every moment with Piva Drink. Refreshment for every occasion. Piva Drink, a taste you will love.
Piva.
This advert is FDA approved.
You're welcome back. This is Face to Face on Channel 1 Television. My guest is Director of Legal Affairs of the NDC and CEO of the NPA. You've not been confirmed yet, or you've been confirmed?
Not yet.
Oh, so acting NPA boss, but it's fine. You're the boss, so let's leave it like that. They said there's a power vacuum. We don't know who our head of state is currently. Even though President Mahama is the one who was elected, he's not in the jurisdiction, the vice is not around, the speaker is not around. We don't know. I saw the NPP statement.
I thought there are three hierarchies.
Yeah.
The judiciary, the executive.
Then the judiciary.
Is the acting chief justice in Ghana?
No, the judiciary, the head of the judiciary is on internship. Sorry, is on leave.
By law.
Suspension.
No. There's an acting CJ.
Can an acting...
It's not personal.
So it's the office?
It's the office. It's not personal. It is the office. And so as we speak, there's an acting Chief Justice of the Republic. That is the reason why we have three arms of government.
So our president now is acting CJ Bafuponi.
I am saying that there is no vacuum. You premise your argument on vacuum.
Yes.
And I'm saying that there are three arms of government. Mm-hmm. So if the executive head and the vice are not in, the legislature is not in, but the judiciary is in, there's no power vacuum.
Even though the head of the judiciary is on suspension.
The Constitution says, in the absence of the senior most acts as the CG. That's NCT. It admits of no ambiguity.
How do you marry this with the Atamensa and Asari cases that talked about subscribing to the oath?
Yes,
when you act as president?
Yes, you know, it was, and I remember His Lordship Justice Badebe's judgment where this issue came up, and he has to, because I think the Honorable Duajaho decided that he was not going to take the oath, and that matter came up, and my Lord Justice Badegbe raised that issue. And on this note, I just want to wish his family the deepest condolence, my own senior Assad and the others, on the loss of Justice Badegbe, one of our foremost judicial minds. That's a very interesting case, like you pointed out. As to whether the oath has been administered or not, I'm not in position to say I know or I do not know. But what I can say is that there is no power vacuum. It does appear that the president is in the country.
He's back. But
he's in the country.
Even if he's back, there was a period where he was not. So I think that's where we are discussing.
He's in the country.
What's your personal view? There's a view that, and I've seen, I think, as Professor Azar make a comment that we should do away with the Atamensa and Asari case, which says that when the president is not around, someone should subscribe to an oath to act, and that wherever the president is, because of technology and digitalization, we should say that
there's even a broader conversation. When you say you are acting president because the president has traveled, what can you do?
So when you are acting CJ, what can you do?
No, acting CJ is different.
How?
You run the office.
Okay.
The reason why I'm asking
acting president, you run the office?
No. When it's just the vacuum, it's a legal construct. So for instance, without, when Prof. Mills died, from the time he died to the time in the evening when President Mahama was sworn in,
there was a vacuum.
Would you say there was a vacuum?
Depends on how you look at it.
Exactly. That's why I say it's a legal construct. Legal construct in the sense that even the person who acts, assuming that the speaker is acting, can he exercise executive authority? No. So it's purely a legal construction. Can the speaker, whilst he acts, disappoint a minister?
Hire or fire?
Hire or fire a minister? No.
So it's toothless bulldog?
Completely. The whole idea is that, at least at every point in time, so do
you think we should just scrap the law and let it be that president is president whether or not he's in the jurisdiction?
I mean, it should serve as a reminder. Without more.
You do not want to give me your personal view on that?
It should serve as a reminder without more.
Since we are talking about legal matters, the head of the judiciary, until she was sent on suspension, Gertrude Esaba Tokono, the view is that your party, which you are the head of legal for, deliberately planned to remove her, and that you came in, and there's even an allegation that the petition was cooked at Jubilee House, and she has been sent on suspension to allow you as a party to do whatever you want to do with the judiciary. They are playing chaskele with the judiciary. What's your response to that?
Your platform has always been a very serious platform.
And it will continue to be.
And I appreciate the kind of individuals you bring. One thing you don't know is that there are 2, maybe 3 or more programs that I don't miss. Yours, really? And Eyewitness News. As for Eyewitness News, I think I'm a disciple of Eyewitness News.
I hope you are not patronizing me so that when you don't answer me well, I will not press you.
I'm just telling you that I am a disciple.
I'm honored, sir.
Of Eyewitness News. And there are instances where I've had to do editorial from.
Yes,
you know. The reason why I brought this in is that the NDC considers very serious the 3 arms of government. And so, from 1992, especially the political party with that association with the birth of the Constitution, we have always done everything to ensure judicial independence, very important. Now, when I heard some of the comments you repeated on this very esteemed platform, and again, they are not befitting of this platform, in the sense that, listen, her ladyship, now suspended Chief Justice Gertrude Tokono, received bipartisan support when President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo nominated her for the Chief Justice position, bipartisan. If the NDC was minded, would have opposed her nomination even to the Supreme Court. The issues that have grounded this petition, unless by clairvoyance, how was anybody going to determine that her ladyship, the Chief Justice, was going to conduct herself one way or the other? Witchcraft. So how can somebody say that the NDC had crafted a scheme to get her out? The same political party that gave her bipartisan support in Parliament.
The same party that was constantly demonstrating and saying she's not fair to them.
No, let me show something. When there have been President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo nominees to the Supreme Court that the NDC opposed and were put to a vote on the floor. My Lord Justice Gawu, his nomination...
From your region?
Yes, and a judge I respect so well. In fact, as lawyer, I was always interacting with him at the whole High Court as a senior brother, right? Whatever it is, 2 judges appointed by President Nana Addo were opposed to the extent that the committee could not agree on their approval by Parliament, to the extent that it was put to the House for a vote. Correct. In the case of a ladyship, the Chief Justice, now suspended, bipartisan. I recall the Honorable Ato Forson as the minority leader then, together with the NPP, unanimously approved her from the committee level to the House. This is the party NDC. So where from this idea?
We've heard you say things whenever you go on demonstration. You say that the Supreme Court has become the unanimous FC, and that whatever you send to the court, they do not treat your cases well. She doesn't empanel, she doesn't fix dates for your cases and all of that.
No, I remember vividly. The first time I heard this unanimous FC was in the 2020 election petition. Was Godwin Edudzi the CJ then?
Yeah, but she took over later.
No, I beg you.
No, she's not.
So where from this issue?
No, but the point is that...
So I'm saying that,
yeah,
assuming you are premising it on the fact that people have raised issue,
yeah,
with judicial partiality or impartiality, what has that got to do with her? In fact,
you have said she doesn't give you dates, and that she allows your cases to become moot before she even...
Let me give you a personal story.
Yes.
Personal to me. I was counsel for the NDC in 2023, September, when the Electoral Commission decided to do the limited registration exercise. I remember vividly, I applied for an injunction. The injunction went, after everything I served the EC, we needed dates for the injunction application. Umaru, right up to around 5 p.m., the day of the bar conference, that was the time we got dates. The date we got for the injunction, the exercise was happening in September. We got our date for 17th October.
Like American visa application.
We got, so the date eventually that were given, which was 17th October, that's about 3 weeks after the exercise had concluded.
And so that's one of many reasons that your party members have been citing.
No, I'm coming. Now, when you read, and I've seen what they claim to be the petition, where in any one of these petitions do you see a petitioner being a known or card-bearing member of the NDC? 2, that the grounds for this is because she refused to give dates in a matter involving the NDC.
That's a hidden motive.
Please, with the greatest respect, not even the devil knows what is in your beautiful head. Not even the devil.
Or your bald head.
Oh, I mean, that looks, yeah, I'll take it. No, but Umaru.
Yes, I get you.
Yes, I know. But all that I'm saying is that in all fairness to the National Democratic Congress, no such thing. It's unfortunate.
Look, they say that you are removing, okay, not you, when I use you now, I'm referring to that the petitioners and the cases that have been brought have nothing to do with her office per se.
Now listen.
What do you say to that? That someone should be removed for, so for instance, you, if someone wants to petition for your removal, it should have something to do with what you've done here at NPA as CEO about Murphy Sons.
No, hold on.
Not because you traveled to Qatar and you had a laptop in your bag, in your car.
In the wisdom of the framers of the 1992 Constitution, they envisaged 3 grounds: incompetence, stated misbehavior, right, and more importantly, infirmity, if you are not in position to perform the function. Now, if you look at the grounds and the publications online on the various platforms, assuming that is the petition, what do they say? What do they disclose? It's a mixed bag. It's a cocktail of issues.
Yeah.
Stated misbehavior, possible issues of incompetence. That's different. And so to link all these matters to the NDC is completely
So your hands
unfair.
are clean.
President Mahama finds himself.
You are not planning to pack the bench.
President Mahama finds himself.
You've appointed one of my lecturers
in the situation of Pontius Pilate, where the people say, we want this done to Christ. What does it do?
Conveyor
Get me
belt.
word. I fetch, clean my hand. I move the case to the governor in Judea. The governor together says a prima facie has been made. That ends it. Have you heard President Mahama personally comment on the conduct or otherwise relative to all these matters that are panning out? No. He had demonstrated great circumspection, and even the divided view as to whether, at the point of prima facie determination, whether the person ought to be given a hearing. President Mahama had gone beyond that. When the CJ wrote that she needed to make a comment relative to the petition, prior to the determination of the prima facie, she wanted 7 days. President Mahama gave her how many days?
10.
10.
So it's been magnanimous.
Beyond.
Okay.
Beyond.
Beyond this.
Do you know why I say that? When Madame Charlotte Osei petition came up, right, and President Amadu had the benefit of the petition, the lawyers of Madame Charlotte Osei wrote to the president requesting for a copy of the petition just to respond ahead of Chief Justice Sofa Akufo making the prima facie determination. The presidential Gongon Bitaden, Eugene, responded to that request and said this is not a platform for her, and that she will have the benefit of getting the petition before His Lordship Justice Benin. No, Benin.
Okay.
The 5-member. You know, it was Justice Benin, Justice Mafosao, may he so rest in peace, Agnedoji, and 2 other civilians. That was when she had the benefit. But this one, President Mahama says no. We have the benefit of it.
Let's move away from CJ Takono and talk about the Supreme Court bench generally.
Yes.
The latest promotions to the Supreme Court. There's a view that what you have done amounts to the same thing you've been accusing Nana Akufo-Addo of doing, and that you're parking the bench. I'm happy my lecturer in evidence, Justice Akabuafo, is being promoted to the Supreme Court, but outside criticism suggests that you are parking the very bench you've been complaining about being parked in the past.
Okay, so thankfully, in the wisdom of the framers of the Constitution, they never put a limit to the number of Supreme Court judges. Umaru, as we speak, there are about 48 Court of Appeal judges. 44 appointed by Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo alone as president.
44 out of 48?
Yes.
Within 8 years?
Yes.
Okay.
There are 48 Court of Appeal judges now. In fact, my last count.
Including those who are being elevated or excluding that?
Including them.
Okay.
They are still Court of Appeal judges.
Okay.
Of that number, only 4 have been appointed by president other than Nana Addo.
So of the I'm just wondering, so of the 7 who have been promoted, 3 must have been appointed by Nana Akufo-Addo.
And that is the case.
Okay.
Amalbo,
Don't mention
No, I'm just saying. Hafisata, His Lordship Justice Akabuafo, Janapari, Bataskujo, Justice Bright Mensah. So out of the 7 that President Mahama is promoting or elevating to the Supreme Court, only 2 are not Akufo-Addo's appointees. My Lord Justice Sammy Gyamfi, my Lord Justice Dennis. The remaining 5 are all persons who President Akufo-Addo appointed to the Court of Appeal. Each one of them has a distinguished judicial career. Look, I was taught by His Lordship Justice Dennis at the law school. I know Justice Sammy Gyamfi's record. If you pick the time when he was in the tribunal in Wa.
When you had tribunal in this country?
In Wa. When he was in Boga. When he was a state attorney in Ho. If you put the work he's done as a judge from the tribunal, that's over 30 years. I don't know who today has that record. I don't know anybody. I don't know anybody living today.
So he surpasses Sir Dennis?
Yes. No, Sir Dennis came in 2010, just as him, at the Court of Appeal.
Okay.
But he came from the bar.
Okay.
He had been a person you call district magistrate. So, in fact, currently, my Lord Justice Sammy Gyamfi is somebody who had gone through the mill
from scratch
to this level. I don't know anybody who will say.
Okay. So these are justified.
I am saying, look at someone like His Lordship Justice Akabuafo. Excellent jurists. Excellent jurists. Look, I have litigated before him. I did Zanato before him. Right? I did Zanato, the High Court, before him. In fact, it was before His Lordship Justice Akabuafo that I did when I was doing the Zanato, I asked for the referral to Supreme Court. He refused. I went for a certiorari against him, and he succeeded. That is how come the Zanato matter ended up at the Supreme Court. I also did Atufosin before him. Look at his lead judgment. I've done other matters before these judges. Each one of them has a unique judicial disposition. Excellent juries. If you look at the pick, my Lord Justice Sir Dennis, like I pointed out. In fact, the senior most is Justice Senyo, because he had been at the court longer than all of them. Right from the tribunal in Wa. In the 90s, when was the last time you heard of the tribunal? You understand? So this is a man that has served Ghana from a state attorney.
Very well. Okay.
In the 80s, right into the 90s to now.
So it's not an attempt to neutralize.
Neutralize what? As I speak to you.
Like what the president said to your bar, your version of the bar association.
In 8 years, President Anado has done 18 Supreme Court judges, some on retirement. Currently, there are about 15 or so Supreme Court judges. only 2, only 2, have been appointed by a president other than Akufo-Addo. My Lord Justice Poaman, my Lord Justice Bafo-Boni. All the rest were nominated, but excellent judges, excellent Supreme Court judges.
Okay. I need to take a break.
Thank you.
This is Face to Face on Channel 1 TV. Edudzi Tamekloe speaking to us there. He's plenty of positions now, so I'm not sure which one to. Let me just say lawyer Tamekloe. When we come back, I'll ask him about his office that he's occupying now, NPA. Why we are not seeing a reduction at the fuel pumps, even though the dollar is struggling against us.
In a world filled with challenges, we all need guidance, hope, and a lifeline to anchor us.
This is Lifeline, and I'm your host, Fred Crunchy Mensa.
From social issues, relationship challenges, and family matters, Lifeline is here to inspire, uplift, and guide you on your journey.
Where we give you support, where we hold your hand through the valley and through the thick and thins of life.
Join Bishop Fred Crunchy Mensa.
I welcome you especially to Lifeline.
Every Tuesday and Thursday at 10 p.m. right here on Channel 1 TV. Let's walk this path together, strengthen our faith, our families, and our lives. Lifeline, because every soul deserves a guiding light. Tune in to Lifeline on Channel 1 TV and let's grow together.
You're welcome back. Edudzi, you have come to NPA now. You've explained to me already that the sector is not something that is new to you, and you are here to do regulation, which is legal. And of course, you've been a lawyer for what, 15 years. You are qualified to go to Supreme Court?
No, I'm doing 12.
Oh, you have done 12 now, so you can go to the High Court?
Yes.
Oh, nice. Would you ever want to go to the bench?
No.
Not yet?
No,
don't say no. Just say not yet.
No.
You don't want to be at the bench. The bar is making you enjoy life, so you don't want to.
You know, this country is complicated, man. So sometimes you want to leave the complication out.
Justice Tamekloe.
Yeah, you know, I want you to be the first person who will come before me.
No. I will not. I will lose.
No, as a lawyer.
No, I will withdraw. I will say I don't want to be. But okay, I just said fine. Something, and when I said Justice Tamekloe, then I did the literal translation of Tamekloe, and I realized.
Please.
For those who do not understand,
let's focus on the key issues.
That's it. These are the key issues.
Let's focus on the key issues.
Okay. Let's talk about. Please go and find out what Tamekloe means. NPA. What are you here to do?
That's an excellent question. Okay, so again, like I pointed out, the entire petroleum down. So the petroleum industry generally has an upstream, midstream, and downstream. The upstream deals with crude extraction.
GNPC and their family.
So GNPC. So that gets regulated by Petroleum Commission. Then now you have midstream, the things Ghana Gas does as a national aggregator of our gas and everything. Then now you have the downstream. So the NPA,
which is what you focus on.
Yes. So the NPA itself is a 2005 establishment. Now, prior to 2005, it used to be a unit at the Ministry of Energy. Now, that same unit was elevated to the status of the
authority.
Through the authority, the Act established the authority as we have, with clear objectives and functions to essentially regulate the entire petroleum downstream. Beyond licensing, compliance, and all of those things, the key word is to regulate the petroleum downstream. So, and when you say downstream, the very moment crude enters a refinery, all the other things that happen there, we are supposed to be in charge. Now, for the past 3 or 4 months or 5 months, with a team of dedicated officers, what we've been trying to do essentially is to ensure that the country's energy security is maintained. by energy security, you want to ensure that our stock of critical fuel is at all times maintained.
Is that not a BOST mandate? Is that your mandate?
BOST is only storage.
Okay. Okay.
It's a strategic storage. But it is somebody who must bring before you store.
Okay.
So that whole, and so BOST and its activities are all under what we do here.
Okay.
Now, what we have been trying to do, and again, like you pointed out, is to ensure that a deregulated, quote-unquote, industry, okay, ultimately benefits you and I. What are we doing? We are looking at price regulation in the sense that we will not allow industry players to unnecessarily profit at the expense of the ordinary person. And that makes the question you've asked much earlier, what are we doing to benefit from all the economic things that are happening now? I'm in talks with the finance minister. He wants to appreciate the dynamics, the pricing outlook in the first and the, we are in the second, third, and fourth quarter within the year, how that can dovetail into ensuring that inflationary pressure will come down. Because remember that the impact, the ripple effect of petroleum prices on general goods and services and their pricing is always higher.
Yeah.
And so, and like in the discussion with finance minister, all that we are trying to do is to ensure that the impact of the appreciation of the cedi among all the other economic factors impacts and reflects in your pocket.
Would we see a reduction on the amount I pay for a liter?
Already, as you are aware, fuel prices have been going down, some consistently.
Really? Are you sure?
Yes, in the pricing window.
Okay.
So, I mean, you can verify.
That's so, because it's automatic, a lot of these things are deregulated now. Can you, as NPA, wake up one day and issue a statement and say, petrol stations, all of you, reduced by this ABCD because of...
One of the work we are doing with the finance ministry, and I've been in talks with the affable finance minister, Ato Forsen, on this issue, is to appreciate, plus or minus, what should be the actual selling price? Is what is being offered on the market now reflective of current economic happenings? If it's not, and it requires our intervention, we will do that. But ultimately, what we are interested in is how we can ensure that the ordinary person benefits from the strength of the Ghana cedi.
Will we benefit?
Because you see, usually two things impact greatly on pricing. Then the stability or otherwise of the local currency. Because again, unfortunately, we do not have a stronger refinery. We do not refine our crude. So you have a situation where we bring almost all the refined products into the country. Now, to the extent that we do that, it means that we have to mobilize more Ghana cedis to get, but for now, more dollars, and now bring the products with the dollars. Two things are happening. Bank of Ghana, and thank to Governor Dr. What was the name? Johnson, Esiama.
Yes.
The auctioning of forex to the BDCs.
Thanks to Dr. Baumia too.
What did he do?
Well, he brought you gold for oil, and he brought you gold reserve for oil or something like that.
I beg you.
I
beg you.
He brought you gold for oil.
I beg you.
Which
I beg you.
It's okay, continue.
I beg you. I beg you.
Give credit where credit is due.
Makuku them. Makuku them.
He brought you a beautiful idea, which BOST implemented. It's okay, you continue with your submission.
Thank you.
Why are you saying that my comment is a distraction?
Graciously, again, the intervention from the Honorable governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Isiama, and the help with the forest auctioning. Yes, it's true, forest auctioning didn't start today, but the sustained manner is being done today had brought great relief. So the BDCs, instead of going out there to the black market to look for dollars and others, the Bank of Ghana has intervened beautifully. The other thing too is the work of the finance minister with the general stability of the Ghana city. Today, when you go to Bloomberg and all the major business portals, the conversation is that the Ghana city is very strong and performing very well. I've seen commentary in Nigeria and others, people praising the government for this. Now, the other thing too is general outlook from OPEC. Kazakhstan and others are ramping up production relative to crude oil. So that has also impacted on the price of crude. So when you put all of this together, the benefit we are getting now is the relative lower prices of fuel at the pump.
Very well.
There's another thing. You see, in Ghana here, we kind of have an infrastructure deficit. The place of discharge of refined petroleum products into the country creates a distortion, because essentially the bigger vessel, there is only one place. It has created what you call increased demurrage costs to the BDCs and then the oil traders. So thankfully, Cabinet, together with my minister, the Honorable John Abdullahi Jinapo, has agreed that we construct a second platform or discharge facility. The whole idea is that once we get that done, the $35 million and above of demurrage costs that gets passed on
Will reduce. Okay.
And that will further impact
Very well.
on the pricing of petroleum products.
We need to go.
So we are very focused on getting the industry stable.
We are
with
done.
a greater focus on energy security.
Okay. We're done. We have to go. But I have just one question for you. If an NDC member in Fojoku wants to open fuel station, would they have easier access now because Edudzi is in charge? You give them more would there be more licenses for people who want to open fuel stations?
As you are aware, I'm a fair-minded person. So whether the person...
So you didn't sack MPP before you came to meet at NPA?
Whether the person is in Fojoku, Dofo, Togome, Asuchari Johnson, or Jerepanga, or Kwe,
you treat them equally.
Or Kiri,
it's okay, you treat them
wherever
equally.
the person, or even my own mother's hometown in Krachi.
Where's your wife?
Brai.
Your wife is from where?
She's an Ashanti.
Yeah, so from
or
which?
Jacobu, or anywhere in
It's
this
okay,
country.
you treat them fairly.
We'll be treating everybody fairly.
Very well. Thank you so much,
Thank
Council.
you,
Umaru.
That's Edudzi Tamekloe Godwin. He's the CEO of the National Petroleum Authority. He's Director of Legal Affairs of VNDC. I am Umaru Sanda Amadu. This has been Face to Face. Thank you for watching.